Today I'm going to read A Camping Spree with Mr. Magee. Early one morning at 7:03, Mr. Magee and his little dog Dee packed up the camper and hitched up the load, hopped in the Rambler, and then hit the road. They drove to the mountains far from the sea for 2 nights of camping, or possibly 3. They're loading up the camper, Mr. Magee and his dog Dee. There's nothing like camping, said Mr. Magee. I know you will love it. Just you wait and see. The views are fantastic. There's hardly a sound. Aside from the wildlife, there's no one around. And the air is so sweet, you'll sleep like a log, said Mr. Magee to his small spotted dog. A few hours later, they took a sharp right and found a great spot to lay camp for the night. It was high on a hill with a beautiful view of Mount Adams, Mount Lincoln, and Jefferson too. But perhaps the most wonderful feature of all was the brook that ran over a steep waterfall. It was whoosh. Dee gathered pine cones and branches and logs. Magee made a campfire and cooked some hot dogs. And as the sun set behind far distant knolls, they sat roasting marshmallows over the coals. As the embers went out, they felt tired and dozy, so they climbed in their bunk beds all comfy and cozy. But while they were falling asleep without care, along came a stumbling, bumbling black bear. Uh-oh. What do you think a black bear's gonna do? Let's see. A kindly old bear whose sight wasn't so clear. He couldn't see far, and he couldn't see near, but he could smell marshmallows, sticky and sweet. The smell made him hungry. He wanted a treat. The bear smells the marshmallows. Uh-oh. He sniffed out the place where the marshmallows lay, but the car and the camper were in the bear's way. Yet that didn't stop the sneaky old snitch. He simply tried to squeeze right under the hitch. Uh-oh, it looks like it popped off. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to roll down the hill. As he was shimmying into the gap, he pushed up the hitch, which let go with a snap. Oh no! Now that the camper and car were untied, they started to roll down the rocky hillside. The car bounced away on the old logging road, while the camper was heading to where the stream flowed. Oh no, they're gonna go splash into the water. They were snoring and snoozing, enjoying a dream, when splash went the camper right into the stream. Oh no! And who sees them up top? Looks like a raccoon. The splash shook the camper. They bumped out of bed. Now what in the world was that? Mr. Magee said. And when he looked out and saw where they were, his hair stood on end, and so did Dee's fur. How do you think they felt? They look like they're scared. They were caught in the rapids, but that wasn't all. They were headed smack dab in the big waterfall. Dee and Magee both started to quiver as faster and faster they headed downriver, but just when they thought they'd fall over the edge, their camper got stuck on a rock at the edge. Oh, thank goodness. So there they were, stranded, Magee and his pup, on the top of a waterfall, 50 feet up. Oh my goodness, that is so high up. Let's see what happens next. Meanwhile, that nearsighted bear from before was searching for one little marshmallow more, when lo and behold, as if out of a dream, he spied something sweet floating over the stream. What do you think he thinks that is? Looks like a marshmallow, but is it a marshmallow? The bear was determined to capture his prize, so he jumped in the water right up to his thighs. He splashed through the stream to the edge of the fall and snatched up the trailer hitch, camper and all. So he thought that was a marshmallow, but it was really just the hitch. Silly bear. Dee felt a tug. Magee heard a knock as the bear pulled the camper right off of the rock. He dragged them both all the way back to the bank when he realized the hitch was not sweet, but quite rank. He spit out the hitch and left in dismay, while Magee and Dee's camper again rolled away. It flew down the path with a jolt and a jar and stopped in some bushes right next to the car. Whew, they made it safe. Dee popped her head out. Magee looked out too. Had they really stopped rolling? Could it be true? At last things were quiet and peaceful and still. They hooked up the hitch and drove off down the hill. And on the way home, Magee said to Dee, "That trip wasn't quite like I thought it would be." So when they got home, with the sky turning red, they decided to camp in the backyard instead. So peaceful and quiet, and they just camped in their backyard, roasted marshmallows over the fire. The end.